morning. Thank you for sticking around and watching yet another presentation for things. We're going to be talking this morning about mobile productivity and how people are adapting to mobility in their enterprise, what it means to you, how disruptive it can be, and how best to maybe go forward with a prescriptive architecture for mobile security for your firm. First, just a couple quick slides on Accellion, who we are. Accellion's been in business since 1999. Many customers. One of the things I find, we're particularly proud of is a 96% loyalty rate. These services, like our own, are an annual subscription, and this is a testament to the quality of the service and the people that we have. Many clients, a lot of clients here. Certainly, everybody knows some of these people here, if not virtually all of them, from the Metropolitan Police and Her Majesty's Revenue Service, NASA, Rabobank, Saint-Gobain, Air Liquide, Hit Entertainment here in the UK, Pfizer and Lilly, right across some of the best-known brands in the world, for Procter & Gamble, Rolex, Coach, Prada, some of the largest law firms in the world. We have 30% of the top 100 law firms. And in energy, Saudi Aramco, Shell, and others. So just another industry that we're particularly strong in. So I think we are a well-established company. Today we estimate we have over 11 million end users of our solution. Here's another number, though. What is this number? This is the number of mobile phones that Gartner has estimated were sold in 2012. So it's a pretty large number when you consider the population of the world, and you look at that number. There's quite a few people who bought a phone last year. It's not the total phones out there. It's just the ones that were sold last year. Then add to that the tablets and how they've been coming on. Because of the rise of the tablet, the number of tablets sold, the number of computing devices, otherwise laptops and desktops, has been declining. That number has been coming down now. It's the growth rate, I should say, the growth rate of it has been coming down. And the reason is tablets themselves now are beginning to, help us realize the post-PC era. And why are people embracing smartphones and tablets? What do they want? They want the ability to get to their information anytime, anywhere, on any of the devices that they have. They want the ease of use and the productivity that it brings, and they want to be able to collaborate with one another. I think we all see that certainly with the latest generation to enter the workforce, their style of working, their expectations from IT, from the systems that they have, are dramatically different than what you may have seen in the past. They expect things to be there immediately. They expect it to be very easy to use, intuitive virtually. They expect a lot of social collaboration. And they go about trying to find it. And today, because of cloud services, they can find it. They could find all sorts of cloud solutions out there to help them achieve that end result of ubiquitous access to files and the ease of collaboration. But in seeking out these cloud services, what's happening is they're going past your IT department. So this is the consumerization of IT. This is shadow IT. And what's happening with it is that you run risk here of data loss, lack of compliance, cost, security. All of these things can potentially disrupt your business. So them seeking these third-party cloud applications can cause you problems. So I think you need to approach it with a vision as to how you're going to go about dealing with some of this. But here's what people are finding. 83% in a survey here by ResRes, 83% said they did have rogue cloud usage. 40% said it compromised data. And sorry, there you go. 25% claim that they've been hacked. So this is creating a significant problem. Let me ask a question. How many of you have negotiated a software contract along with your corporate counsel? Can you raise your hand? How many? Yeah, certainly, at least half of you, many of you. So you've all gone through that. You know what fun that is, talking to corporate counsel about legal terms and arguing with your software vendor. Well, those of you who have employees who are using cloud services that they signed up for on their own, they all clicked on that terms of service. I agree, right? They all did that. We all do it. We don't bother to read it. Take a look at Google Drive. The first paragraph says, in short, what belongs to you stays yours. Well, you got to love that. That's pretty clear. But then they have a second paragraph that appears to be pretty clear. You give Google a worldwide license to use, host, store, reproduce, modify, and create derivative works. You even give them the right to publicly perform your content. What does that even mean? That's pretty extraordinary. And all of you who raised your hands, I suspect there isn't one of your corporate counsels who would agree to that. Yet, if we saw before, 83% reported that people were using cloud services in their organization. That would suggest that nearly all of you have corporate intellectual property governed by terms of service like this. Yes?
For what it's worth, we spoke to people about that, and we were surprised to find out, okay, we took it up.
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, you can negotiate that, right? You can negotiate that. The problem is the employee who doesn't. The employee who just does it themselves. So yes, if you get a corporate Google license, yes, you can do that. But the issue that I'm talking about here is the rogue IT. That end user of yours, the business user, who's signing up for these things on their personal email address and putting corporate content in there.
Why aren't they? Well, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I don't know either. I think we certainly find, as I work with banks around the world, banking industry is the tightest, tighter even than most government agencies, really, on the control of that data. So I congratulate you, I applaud you for what you do there. But most corporations, nearly all corporations, do not guard their data as well as you do. And here's what Gartner says. For those of you who don't, 1 in 5 will probably lose their job over the problem of not having information governance policies that are enforced. But it's difficult to enforce, right? You've got people, regardless of what you say, they're out doing it. So what people often try to do, to your point, is they try to block it at the firewall, use DLP checks, data loss prevention checks, to find these outgoing emails. People often email corporate content to themselves at their home email address and then use it. So people try to do this. But I think the problem is often when you say don't do that, you really need to have a corollary to that says don't do that, do this. You need to provide them with an alternative that works for you and for them. So you can't simply deny it. You need to provide an alternative. But if all that isn't bad enough, the terms of service and all this, here's another problem now. These mobile devices are easy to steal. Our own company, we had one of our people on a subway in Washington, D.C. And as the doors opened, somebody grabbed an iPad out of a woman's hand and stepped right off the train with it. So your corporate content can go out, that way. One of you were talking with me yesterday about gangs of thieves that stay near some of the banking centers in Switzerland to steal mobile devices and laptops there because that's where the data is. And so they swarm like flies. The other place where the data is that these criminals are swarming to are cloud services. So just as they look to hack into banks, they look to hack into the cloud services nowadays. Remember recently LinkedIn had a problem with passwords being stolen? And you probably thought, like I did that morning, what do you want my password for? What are you going to do, change my resume? Right? Doesn't seem to make much sense. But there's a reason why they wanted those passwords. There's a reason why. Because they know you probably use that password somewhere else. So the very first thing to do, let's say I got, pick a famous person's password. I'd go to Dropbox, type in an email address. We'll take someone who's no longer with us, stevejobs.com, stevejobs@gmail.com. Well, probably not Gmail. and then enter that password I got from LinkedIn and see if it doesn't get me into all the corporate content. And you can bet it didn't take too long to start finding it. So they're going towards the cloud services now, looking for corporate content. And it's happening around the world. So, be aware of it. One of our largest clients is Verizon Wireless. Someone told me yesterday that their name's not well known over here in Europe. They are 45% owned by Vodafone, who certainly you do know. Verizon Wireless is the largest wireless carrier in the United States. So they are quite large company. They had a program at the time. They called it their Road Warrior program. Today it's called Verizon My Files. And what it was simply is they wanted to make their corporate content available to their road warriors. And they have about 100,000 people they consider road warriors. They wanted to make their corporate content available to them, but they wanted very, very tight control over that. So first of all, they insisted on a private cloud. In fact, they insisted that the data reside back on their premises behind their firewall. They wanted to control who could download data. Some people could view it, but not download it. Other people they would allow to download. So for Verizon, they have corporate provision devices. Probably many of you, do you have corporate provision devices in your company? How many? Some of you? Yeah. About a third. Corporate provision devices, but they also have BYOD policy. So what they said was, if you have a corporate provision device, we will allow you to download data. If you are using a BYOD device, you can view data, but you cannot download it. So Accellion implemented all of these things for them, and of course it's available to all of our clients. But we did all of these things for them to provide a secure end-to-end environment for the round trip of all their files. As they get out to the mobile device, they get consumed, used, edited, sent along, saved back into the system. We're working with them. We have literally weekly meetings with them and their engineering team as we continue to build out a solution along with their vision and our vision. So it's an interesting story. And what we do is we believe that where cloud services have value, what you have to be careful of is that what we believe it should not be a public, multi-tenant public cloud. We believe it should be your cloud, right? It should be your cloud, not some public multi-tenant cloud. So your cloud means that it's private. It can be hosted somewhere else. That's your choice if you want that. But it should be private to you. There should be no commingling of data. And what we want to do is close the content loop by not allowing random public cloud solutions to get hold of that data, where it gets replicated. When people say, I want to sign a document, I want to print a document, I want to edit a document, and they begin opening multiple cloud services to do that, and your files then get replicated across many, many clouds. So your files exist in many forms. You can check out. You can negotiate your terms with one, and that's real helpful, except when they say, okay, I want to open the file. Oh, I think I'll open it in Evernote. Oh yeah, they got their passwords hacked too. Remember that one? That wasn't long. So you could check the security of the vendor you think you're using. The problem is if they then open files in other solutions, well, you've lost it. So you really haven't accomplished anything. You've locked the front door and left the back door wide open. So we believe you need a trusted ecosystem of applications that will protect your data. With Accellion, what we do is we have end-user content going into the Accellion private cloud, which could be hosted for you or on-premise with your files behind your firewall. And we provide all those workspaces. But in addition to that, we can connect to your enterprise content stores. And we think that's important. Those things are not likely to go away. They do an excellent job of indexing data, searching for data, archiving it, and providing the e-discovery methodology necessary for your business. So we connect back into there without replicating those. This is literally a screenshot over here. It provides you a one-pane view of all of your files on any of your file stores. So be it a Documentum, SharePoint, a Windows file share, or in the Accellion workspaces, one shot of it right on your iPad there, and you can see it all. So in the world today, as you try to get control of your mobile strategy and you put together a prescriptive architecture for mobile security, what you're dealing with are often mobile device management, mobile application management, and mobile content management. Mobile device management is a powerful technology. We have some vendors here representing that to control the devices. Mobile application management can put additional security around the applications themselves and affect the behavior of those applications. And some of them can be basically created as trusted applications to your organization, therefore restricting where content can go, that it can only go to, as an example, a trusted application. And finally, mobile content management, which is where Accellion falls, and the things that we do for people. Providing enterprise integration, security and governance, existing ECM and file stores, and other trusted applications. Now, one of the problems you have, regardless of all of this, we talked about briefly before, is the opening of files. When you open files, where does it go? You open it usually with another application. So that application allows you to edit, create content, and so on. But what happens then is, even if your application, your file sharing application is secure, when they open it in the other application, you've left that sandbox, that secure sandbox. And so your data is no longer protected. It's no longer necessarily encrypted. So let me show you how that works. You download a file from a source cloud. You open it in another application. The application opens, you edit the file, you save it back, open it in again, your file sharing application, and then upload it to the source cloud. It's a 7-step process. With Accellion, we have within our application the ability to create and edit Microsoft Office files. So Word, PowerPoint, Excel, all of those things can be done there. So what you see is that 7-step process is reduced to 3 steps. It does 2 things for you. For your end users, it's absolutely beautiful. You tap the name of a file, it opens up right there, you edit it, you simply say, place save, and you're done. Your file is saved, it's back in it's been in the encrypted container the whole time, so you're good. For IT, you love it because it preserves 2 things. One, the file stays in its encrypted container, but second is it retains the audit trail for where did that file go. So if that person sends it along, they're sending it along with our file sharing application, which creates that audit trail. So you know who got it, usage. I could tell you, I edit Word documents all the time. I edit Excel occasionally, and as you can see from some of those slides with the trailing E, the last letter. It's very difficult to work with PowerPoint on an iPad. And the key reason is simply there's no mouse. There's no mouse. But we are finding significant demand for editing capabilities. And you know where primarily we find it? Law firms and in your own legal department. They get these. One of the things we could also do is annotate PDFs, and that's what they want to do. They'll have a contract. They want to annotate that. So you send a contract to your attorney and say, could you tell me what you think? And they're going to put notes in the margin and send it back to you. So here are the takeaways. Take a look at the difference between a multi-tenant public cloud and a private cloud, what it means to you and your corporation. That you should have corporate governance policies on your files, on your documents. What is our policy? What can be shared external to the organization? Remember what I said about not simply saying, don't do this. It's important that you say, don't do this, do this. It's important to provision them with something that does work for your organization, provides you the control you need, but it provides the business user the ease of use and productivity that they demand. So that's it, folks.